Welcome everybody. Sorry.
You forgot already?
Yeah.
The Beige Flag.
Welcome everyone to the Beige Flag. I'm your great host Adam Tahir, and with us, Hailey Hardwick is finally back.
Well, I was going to say finally back, but you beat me to it. So, hello. Welcome back, everyone.
Hailey, honestly, right before you texted that you were coming over for the podcast, I thought it was a dream that I had for 6 months that I was filming a podcast with someone. And I'm like, oh, does this person even exist anymore? Because for the last month, you didn't answer any of the texts that I sent you.
What?
Talking about podcast ideas. So, and I thought, no, I hung out, no. Do you have COVID?
Maybe. You probably do. Apparently, a third of people are getting COVID in the next, over this past couple months.
Well, a friend of mine.
I had it too. I had it when we were recording the other podcast.
Yeah, you probably gave it to me. But what was I going to say? No, my friend told me essentially 50% of the adult population in Seattle has COVID now.
Right now?
Or has had it.
Oh, only 50%?
No, has had it in recent time, the period, and they say this is the highest rate of COVID since, COVID began.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Are you?
It's still not fun. When I had it after my half marathon, I'm never gonna stop name dropping that one.
Where did you finish?
What?
Where did you finish?
In Memorial Stadium.
No, where did you finish in the rankings?
Oh, I don't know.
Top 50
in the
percentile?
Yeah.
That's honestly pretty good, even though you had COVID.
Yeah, I know, and I had a hurt knee. What was I going to say? Oh, it's still pretty shitty to get. It's not fun.
Yeah. Did you lose your sense of smell?
Yes. That was crazy.
And then this is right before you're supposed to go to Italy, some of the best cuisine in the world.
Yes. So now I'm back from Italy, and I can confirm wonderful cuisine. I think I gained 50 pounds. So
I thought people lose weight when they go to Italy because
you walk so much. Yeah, we did walk a lot.
How was the difference between the taste of pasta between here and there?
So good. I mean, even days we didn't go out to dinner. Okay, going out to dinner, so good, and everything is so cheap there.
And then on top of at the restaurants, you don't have to tip because it's already baked in.
But there are covers all over Italy.
What do you mean?
Just to sit there, they'll charge you €2 a person.
Yeah, but that's not bad at all.
Right, exactly. I would way rather have that and have them pay their employees well and not have to tip. But that's just me.
Yeah. Okay, so then tonight I copied the recipe from Carbone to make the spicy rigatoni.
Ooh.
So I found an Italian grocery store in in Seattle.
Okay.
And guess how much just the chili peppers were that I had to get from Italy. The Italian one. And it's the smallest bottle you could find.
You should have just told me to bring you some back. $10.
Yeah, it's $10, $12.
That's
and
crazy.
Then the chilies, the tomato sauce, and then the pasta, the rigatoni. Just these 3 ingredients cost me $25. This is
wild to cook at home. People are cook at home. It's so cheap.
No, it's not cheap at home to cook anymore. Yeah. This is why I got a Costco membership this year.
You got a Costco membership? What?
I am.
That is big news.
I know.
I think that segues into our first dating topic of the new year. Saving money on dates this year, right?
I know. I am currently broke.
So, are you going to be taking some new dates to the exclusive members only club?
Exactly. So, I actually did already.
No way.
Yeah. We got 2 slices of pizza and the giant chocolate chip cookie.
I've been wanting to try the cookie, but it's expensive.
It's
for Costco food?
Well, it's $2.80. But if you look at the size of the cookie, it's the size of my face.
Wow. Oh, now I want to go try it.
Yeah, but the trick is you get 2 of them and get the vanilla ice cream, and you put the vanilla ice cream between to get the giant ice cream sandwiches.
Wow. Life hack right there.
Yeah.
Dang.
So that's
honestly, if you took a girl on a first date there, did that, and she didn't want a second date, I would be shocked.
But I feel like most girls would be open to go to Costco. First, you walk around and see all the stuff you want to get.
Yeah, you get them full-on samples.
Yeah, and then you take them to the food court.
Yeah, you can buy whatever you want for dinner. Literally anything you want.
Yeah, you can tell them, besides the roast beef sandwich, it's $10. But usually they're out of it by the time I go there. But today I went to the Kirkland Costco, which is ginormous compared to anywhere else.
Yeah, because it's the flagship one, right?
The flagship one. And they have a separate food court, so I don't think you need a membership to go in there.
Oh, because it's outside?
Yeah.
Yeah. All the ones in California are outside. It's very cool.
Not really. The ones I've been to in California are not outside. Really? Oh, wait, actually, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. Okay. You got a Costco membership, and you've already taken a date there. That's great.
I know, and we already have a second date set up. I think next way, I think I'm going to take her to Trader Joe's after this.
Oh, that's another good date. Costco and Trader Joe's. I love it.
So, do you have any 2024 resolutions you made?
Well, yeah, but they're not about dating. So what about you? Do you have any dating resolutions other than saving money?
I don't believe in resolutions. I think it's just a way for you to set up to fail.
What?
Because at the end of the year...
Isn't it fun to look back at like what you wrote down in the beginning of the year and be like, holy crap, either like I grew so much and that's not something I'd ever want anymore, or like, dang, I accomplished that. Like I did it.
I think mine is more like for the podcast. I want at the end of the year, I want a consistent following base and be able to give away all our t-shirts.
Ooh, the giveaway all our t-shirts is tough because like I wanted to give some to my sisters, but I just forgot.
Yeah, why don't you just store some at your home?
I should, honestly.
Yeah, and you should give one to your
And
roommate.
it's so cold outside. We can get everyone, all the people outside wearing our
it's been
t-shirts.
freezing in Seattle this week.
Yeah.
Like today, I had to wear my puffer that I wear while snowboarding while going outside.
Yeah, honestly, it is so cold.
So that brings me to our actual podcast. So we're going to be making some changes this year.
Ooh.
To the podcast. So
much for no resolutions,
it's
huh?
not a resolution. It's just like I took back. So like most people spend January 1st like recovering from December 31st. I, on the other hand, plan on what I want to like do this year and start planning.
That sounds a lot like making some goals, making some changes,
But it's like,
fresh start.
It's a bigger idea instead of like just going like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. Like I still haven't been to the gym at all this year.
That's not what you have to do. Just because it's January 1st doesn't mean you have to go to the gym.
People have like the no spending resolution, no drinking, or like trying to go to the gym resolution. I more was like bigger picture. How could I improve our listeners' experience?
Okay. Well, both of our mics work this time, we think. We hope. So hopefully it is a great listening experience. What other ideas do you have?
Okay, so we're going to start shifting. We want to be more informative to our listeners and provide more dating helpful insights than just talking about how badly my dating life has been going, which is probably very entertaining for some people, for you too.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad.
Yeah, I do have a story for you about that.
Okay, let's get through the rest of the resolutions. And then...
So we're going to talk about we're going to still talk about my dating life, but we're also going to include segments about how you could improve. We're going to be talking about my dating life and my failures, and hopefully this year we finally can get to a point where I say that I'm in a committed relationship.
Ooh, that is a big goal right there.
That is a very big goal. And two, we want to talk about more dating trends on what's happening specifically within Northern America and specifically within the West Coast and the East Coast and maybe the Midwest, but...
we don't really care.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about more about dating trends, dating insights, and at the same time, we're going to talk about dating advice to help people out. Because as I've learned, many people are struggling, not just me. And maybe many people are just struggling getting dates in general. Have you seen those like Reddit, Hinge, like review my profile?
I haven't seen so much of that, but I have just seen like a ton of stuff about how Hinge is just terrible and like not good unless you pay for it. And even if you do pay for it, like, yeah, the caliber of people is just...
And I've heard like now girls are paying for Hinge Premium. You know that's bad.
That's really bad.
Like, okay, so when you first started Hinge or Tinder back in the day when you were like younger, not any like... But... Okay, let's say within a 24-hour time period, how many swipes or matches would you get?
Okay, in 1 week, I was on Tinder and I traveled to like a couple different cities, and I got this notification on Tinder that was like, you have 1,000 unmatched likes. Like I had been swiping and I had 1,000 that were still unmatched. But on Hinge, like, I mean, you would see it, right? Like, I could scroll for a long time and have people that like.
Yeah, I remember you showing
like,
it, and you're like, "Oh, why is your like section empty?"
Yeah, I know. I thought it was normal that you just always have like a massive backlog of likes.
Yeah, so I wonder how it's gonna be if you started now.
Yeah.
And like see how if it still does the same thing or it's just like the pool is so bad out there.
Yeah.
You know what
you have to like answer that for us.
I think what I'm gonna do, I think I want to do an experiment. I want to do, so I'm 5'9.5", 5'10", right? We'll round up. But I want to do an experiment where I want to restart my Hinge profile and change my height to 6 feet and see if there's like an impact, a big impact on my like matches. Keep the profile exactly the same as it is now. And right now, I like restarted it back in December, and I have like 140 matches sitting right now. But I want to see in a month how many matches I can accrue by just changing my height. I've heard like that could make a difference.
Interesting. So what do you have as your height on your Hinge profile right now? 5'10"?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I would never match with a guy that said he was 5'11" because you just know he's a liar.
He's a 5'9", right?
If you're 5'11", you're going to say that you're 6 foot.
Yes. And if you're 5'10", you're going to say you're 5'11". Well, I think 5'10" people say 5'10". I think it's 5'8" people that say 5'11".
Right. Yeah. 5'11" people are always liars. And you're just like, I'm not bringing that energy into my life.
So you're pretty tall. You're like, what, 5'8", 5'9"?
5'9", yeah.
So have you ever been on a date with a person who lied about their height and like was shorter than you?
Ooh, I don't think so.
Because like you could probably judge from the pictures, right? If they're like lying about their height.
Yeah, and I mean, I was probably kind of shallow, but I would only go for people that were like above 6 foot, not just 6 foot.
So they're like 6'3". Your current boyfriend is what, 6'3", 6'4"?
I don't think he's that tall. I think he's like 6'2".
No, he's way taller.
Really?
I have to look up like when I have to talk to him.
I mean, he's tall, yeah.
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 All right, so you are pretty shallow. So we learned that about Hailey today. Anyways, I do have a dating story for you. Recently, I went on a date with someone that knows you, that went to school with you. And you went to private school. As we all know, Hailey's pretty rich.
You also went to private school and had a driver, so I don't want to hear any of that.
But I went to private school in Pakistan. Way different. Because I just learned how expensive private school is in the United States.
Did the girl tell you?
No, I already knew that beforehand. And I just knew, and I also knew that your parents had to like, how much your mom made on her first tax return.
We're cutting that out.
And also, just know this, Hailey's parents would rent a limo when they had to get back from the airport.
So anyways, private school, you went on a date with a girl from my school.
Yeah, and the only reason I knew about it, because they're like, oh yeah, it was a pretty small private school. Apparently you guys were 50 to 100 people?
No, it was 50 kids per grade.
Per grade, right? Per grade. And that's pretty small for like...
Yeah, I guess.
America, like, so like you went through private school through high school.
Yeah. This school, I think that she went to, we were in school from kindergarten to 8th grade.
Okay.
Together.
And then she remembered you, not only you, and your sister too.
Yeah.
Because...
she was like a grade between us, I think.
So were you guys friends?
I mean, like, I remember playing with her at recess.
Playing what, kickball?
No, like doing gymnastics stuff.
How could a 5'9" person do gymnastics?
I couldn't really. But like, we weren't doing flips. We were just like, I don't know.
Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. And now I have a lot of things to like figure out. Now I can use this person to find out a lot of things about Hailey's childhood.
Oh yeah, she can bring out the old yearbook.
Did you have braces photos in there with the glasses?
I did have one really bad braces photo. I thought braces were so cool. I was so excited to get them. I don't know
Well,
why.
now you have like straight teeth now. I had to get them as an adult because, you know,
You had adult braces?
Yeah, I had like
How'd
those...
that do on your hand? Oh, you had Invisalign?
No, I had Smile Direct Club. Not
even now they're defunct,
yes.
aren't they?
Yeah,
That's
I had to
crazy.
pay. So what happened, I had just gotten my tax refund. And I went and I was on my phone like while I was grocery shopping. And I'm like, hey, I want like Invisalign. It was like way more expensive. So I went to go the other brand, Smile Direct Club. And they're like, if you pay up front, we'll give you a big chunk of discount. And so I took my cash tax refund and just gave it to them. So that's
Did you get to finish before? I mean, I haven't seen you with Invisalign ever.
No, it was like back in California. But I did lose 10 pounds while I was on it for 6 months.
Wow, because you just couldn't eat all the time?
Because every time you had to eat, you had to take out the Invisalign.
It's disgusting.
And you have to eat and then brush your teeth and then put it back.
Yeah, it's really gonna make you think twice about reaching for those chips.
Yeah, I was like in a bad mood all the time too because you have to keep popping in pain meds because they, like, as an adult, your teeth are getting straightened out.
Yeah, it's painful.
And you have to keep
I used to
on
love that pain though, like the pain of after getting my braces tightened at the orthodontist.
Are you okay?
It was like such a good pain.
Have you ever been to therapy, Hailey? I think you could be going to therapy.
Okay, what's the next topic on this list?
All right, so the next topic. Let's talk about what's been happening online, unlike dating trends. First of all, guess which is the most used dating website currently?
Website?
No,
Like
app.
Match.com? Farmers only. Just kidding. Hinge?
What is Hinge? Right, that's what I would assume too because that's what most people use.
Yeah.
But it is Tinder. And
Huh.
then Bumble. And then Hinge is like somewhere down there. But essentially,
interesting.
they're all owned by the same group, Match.com. I think besides Bumble, who was at Tinder, but then she got like let go.
Yeah.
But it's
Whitney
like
Wolf Heard.
what?
Whitney Wolf Heard.
Yeah, she's a billionaire now too, so kudos to her.
Yeah.
But how do you think? Like, I don't think I've used Tinder since like college or like actually used, and like because I felt like everybody just migrated onto like other apps.
Yeah, and especially in Seattle, like last time I was single, Tinder was horrific. Like seriously, the people you would see on there were like scary.
Yeah, and I think it's also because I have a friend from Sweden, and she said that they would use Tinder when they would travel.
Yeah. Yes, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, they said they would travel, and they said when they needed to meet people or like go out with people, they would just swipe.
Yeah.
It's way easier.
Yeah. When I studied abroad in China, a guy in our group had Tinder, and he would use that to like make friends for us. And he said once he was messaging a girl on there, and they were talking about like some political stuff, and she was like, we really can't talk about this on Tinder because we're being monitored by the government. It's like, oh my gosh, that is scary. But yeah, anyways, so I would agree using Tinder to meet people when you're traveling is pretty normal.
So that's one big trend. Another big trend. How much of the population do you think like meets online now?
Like now, like 2024?
Well,
or if we're to get the data for 2023?
Yeah.
Like people who got in relationships in 2023, how many of them were online?
Yeah, and guess like, okay, so these are the criteria. Friends of friends, work, school, and then online. These are your four
What about
options.
just like out at a bar or like...
Yeah, that's the fifth category, but that's like a very minor one.
But I think outside of Seattle, it happens a lot more. Okay, so...
Yeah, so back to it. How much
Online.
percentage?
Like 50%?
It is closer to 50 to 60% now.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like jumped up between they showed a graph from 2000s up to now. It started at less than 10%, right? And now it's at 50% and it's going to keep on growing.
How do you feel about that?
I think honestly it does make sense.
I agree. I think like... Yeah, you can tell so much about someone. You can tell if you're compatible. Like, it saves you so much time.
Yeah, and then it's a bigger, wider pool of people.
Yeah.
I feel like also the one thing I never understood is like, and now I understand this now in America, how many couples meet at work. I thought it was like a big no-no in like corporate America.
Yeah.
But apparently it's a pretty common thing because that was the second highest after Friends of Friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
So, friends of friends, because, when's the last time, also, people used to introduce each other. They don't do that anymore. Hey, I have like a friend for you.
Yes, I know.
You should meet up, yeah.
I know. I don't know why people don't do that. I guess everyone assumes like you have your dating apps and your...
Yeah, and I feel like people think that they don't want to interfere in your life anymore either, which I'm the opposite. Hey, please, if you know someone and you think I would be compatible with them, just introduce me.
Yeah, but I think people are scared to introduce you to their friends.
Because the first thing, the person that you went to school with, she looked me up, and the first thing that came up was a podcast.
Oh boy!
And like she waited until I brought it up naturally to say like, hey, just kind of quick confession, that I already knew about it.
Wow.
So
had she watched and she still agreed to go on a date with you?
no, I think people who know about the podcast or learn about it before going on a date refuse to watch it.
I would totally watch it.
I think they want to give me a fair chance of meeting me in person, because if you see someone online, you already have a preconceived notion of how they're going to be.
Okay, you're not a girl at all. I feel like every girl would be like, oh my God, he has a podcast. I'm for sure listening to as much as I can.
Yeah, but
I'm like finding his family, his mom. I'm looking at his childhood pictures, like going through his Venmo history.
oh, Venmo, I feel like that's such a good way now to figure out what that person's been up to.
Yes, I agree.
And most people, like, I don't hide my purchases unless I'm like, yeah, I never hide my purchases. So everybody can see what I've been up to. And then I get a text from a friend who's like, oh, Tiff T for inviting me.
Ah.
Yeah.
What does that mean? TFT?
Tiff T.
Tiff T.
Thanks for the invite.
What?
Tiff T.
Whoever says Tiff T?
What do you say?
I don't know. I would
What
just never do that.
What do you say?
I would never text someone and be like, why didn't you invite me?
No, I text my friends all the time, Tiff T. Whenever I text them and they say like...
This needs to be a poll. We are putting this on the Instagram for a poll.
What?
Tiff T?
That people don't say Tiff T? What do you think, Scott? What do you think people say to each other?
Not that. I don't think people normally go through people's Venmo histories and then actually text their friends, why didn't you invite me? Or Tiff T?
Hailey, I don't think you're as close to your friends as I am to mine.
I think I'm pretty damn close to my friends.
But maybe you don't have that like sense of humor, because me and my friends have no lines that we cannot cross with each other.
Okay, maybe if I saw it like, okay, I wouldn't even do this, but I could understand maybe if you saw it on like their Instagram story.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't like go through their Venmo. Oh,
Well,
actually,
that's what you made it seem like.
Actually, I have done that many times. But it's like pretty fun. We send it out and then they go like, oh yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, and then we'll set up time to meet. All right, so friends of friends aren't a thing anymore. People are meeting more online. But let's do some like, tell me in the US, which city do you think has the biggest single population? Like it's just guys and girls combined.
Okay, give me a hint. Is it like a big city, like New York, LA?
It's not that big of a
Boston?
city. I think it's like, it's on the coast.
Okay. Which coast?
Well, east or west coast is the same, right?
No, very different.
And
Very different.
And it's a historic city. It's a historic city.
Okay, Boston.
All right, I'm not talking about the founders historic, but yeah, one of the original colonies of America. Let's just call them that.
Okay, so it's not Boston.
No, not Boston. There's like, there's 13 colonies, right?
I do know there were 13 colonies.
Your AP US history wasn't that good, wasn't it?
DC.
DC wasn't even there.
Maryland and Virginia were part of the original colony.
Yeah, but DC is not part of any state, though.
It's in the middle.
Yeah, but it doesn't have statehood.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
Anyways,
okay, just tell me.
Okay, so it's McLean, Virginia.
McLean, Virginia.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that's a place.
What are you talking about? It's one of the biggest cities in Virginia. If I say Virginia, what's the first city that comes into your mind?
Richmond.
Oh yeah, that is true too. But McLean, Virginia, it's the most single city in the United States by population percentage.
When I say Virginia, what's the first city that comes into your mind?
McLean.
What? This is also going to be a poll. Okay.
So we have McLean, Virginia, and we have Tiffany now.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So now the other one. Which city in the United States has the most number of divorces per capita?
LA.
Yeah, that you would think so, but no.
New York.
You would again think so. Now, it's actually near where you went to school. Well, I saw opposite direction, but it's Spokane, Washington.
What? Did you not date a divorced girl from Spokane for a little while?
Also, we don't know if she was divorced at that time because she was.
Yeah, I thought she was for sure married still.
She said she was divorced, right? But she would only hang out with me once a month.
Yeah.
So I would not know if
Like
she was...
when she came to Seattle.
Maybe, but I've been to her apartment, so I knew she had a place here. Or maybe that was her friend's place.
Yeah, or maybe like her company paid for her to have a place here, and she actually, because didn't she have like a really good job?
She was the director of like a big company.
Yeah, so maybe they paid for her to have a place here, but she had a whole family in Spokane.
She did have a full family in Spokane. Her parents
No,
were there.
like children and a husband or a wife.
Oh yeah. No, she said she had a husband. She showed me the husband's photos too.
What? She showed. Okay, so where'd your internet stalking take you? Was she divorced?
Could never figure out. She never had. Couldn't find her on Instagram. Couldn't find her on Facebook. No TikTok.
Okay, so she pre-blocked you.
Maybe, or she said she didn't have any social media.
Yeah, obviously she's gonna say that.
Why do you think like people? Okay, what's your opinion of if you're going on a date with someone and they say they don't have Instagram? Before I used to think it's like insane, but now I understand.
Yeah, but
For a guy to not have an Instagram, I think it makes sense, right?
I get it,
Yeah.
but I would have to really trust them.
Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna ask them to come meet you in like a big public park, not a public park, but like a big like coffee shop.
Well, okay, obviously, yeah, a first date would be in public. I'm not gonna invite them over on the first date. But no, like
is that
I'm
true?
saying, like
No.
getting into a relationship with them, like they would have to have very trusting vibes. They couldn't be even like a little bit sketchy.
What's the trusting vibe?
I don't know, like I just feel like once you've been talking to someone for a little bit, you like get the vibe of if you can trust them or not.
Okay.
Like being honest, not gaslighting.
Do you think I'm a gaslighter? I've been told.
Absolutely.
But I've been told that I'm not a good liar, so that's why I can't be a good gaslighter. Because I just laugh when I'm trying to like make you think you're what I'm thinking. Because then it's a dead giveaway.
I don't think you have to be a good liar to be a good gaslighter. You just have to say something enough.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Like it doesn't really matter how you deliver it.
Interesting.
I think you just say it enough that it gets under their skin.
All right. So one of the final things I want to talk about is that we have this thing called the I don't even know if epidemic's the same good word for it, but there's an issue of there's there's definitely a loneliness epidemic happening in this country, right?
Right.
I've read or like listened a lot about it, and it's like people used to have a place to go from home, between home, their work, and there always used to be a third place, whether they could hang out with friends or they could do something. Now I think people don't have that space anymore.
Yeah, and so many people don't even have like work.
Yeah, because they work from home. Yeah. But I think it leads to a lot of people not wanting to do anything. Like I knew there was like a time period when I first moved to Seattle. I knew there was a time period when I moved to Seattle that there wasn't like, I wouldn't do anything on the weekends because I didn't know anyone. And I would just like be stuck in my apartment all day.
Right. And I think, oh, Kylo. Almost messed up our episode. I think there's also just like no shortage of entertainment now.
On
like
your
you
phone,
can,
right?
yeah, you can do so much from home and you can feel connected. So I feel like in the moment, you don't have to feel lonely. Like you're not just sitting at home, like watching TV, like with your own thoughts. Like you can jump from thing to thing and like, you know, fill your loneliness with some like parasocial relationship. But I think that like you lack connections. Like
True.
It's a one-sided relationship if you're just watching someone online. And like, yeah, I think that catches up with you.
And honestly, it's just like, understand. And then you feel like you're having a relationship with these, like, whoever this online persona is, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I've learned that the most amazing experiences I've had or like the connections I've made is just by showing up to random places that I was invited to and I didn't want to go in the first place. Like I would definitely meet people and I would definitely be able to make those connections with people or like even meet a romantic partner by just saying yes. So that I feel like that's one of the ways to get over this. And I feel like it's also really important for like younger people to do it. Like I know they have their social media and whatnot, but if you just like go out there and do things. But I think it's also people can't really do things because everything costs so much.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's true. And also, I think that, I don't know if this was like when I was growing up or like maybe a little bit before that, but we used to have like dinner parties or just come over and like hang out.
yeah, like, hey,
And that seems so foreign now.
like when's the last time you threw a dinner party for friends?
Yeah, exactly. Never.
So, final topic before we let our host go. Sorry, people go, or audience, whatever. Sorry, I can't speak English.
Oh, I'm actually being held hostage. Please help me.
Yeah. Anyways, there's this thing called the bird test, and it describes if a relationship will succeed in the future or not.
Okay.
And the test is, let's say you and your partner are sitting, and like a bird goes by, and like you go like, "Hey, look, a bird," and your partner takes an interest on what you said and actually looks up and be like, "Oh, that's very cool," or like talks to you more about it. Or if they just look at it and look back and be like, "Oh, okay," that defines like if your relationship is going to succeed or not. It's because if they take an interest in little things with you, like if you share something that happened at work, or like if you're able to share and they take an actual vested interest on what's happening in your life.
Okay, I think this is really similar and probably comes from, there's a psychologist at UW who, he and his wife basically created this lab and for like decades have been predicting if couples are going to make it or not. And they have like a 90% accuracy rate. And one of the main things they look for, like they only have these people in their lab for like a couple hours max. But some of my friends went through like premarital counseling with their, I don't know. Now it's not just them, obviously it's like a institution, but through that like institution, they went through their premarital counseling there. And they said that one of the factors they analyze is called bids. And it's basically that. It's like your partner just asking for connection. Like, oh, look, it's a bird. Or like, oh, so-and-so like got back to work today. Or like just something that like obviously your partner doesn't really care, but it's just something to kind of like get their attention. And couples that like responded to their partner's bids like 80% of the time had almost 100% chance of making it. But most couples only respond to like 30% of their partner's bids.
Is that small? So like what's like an actual valid response? Is it like tell me more about it, or just like actually validating what they said?
I think it's really just validating, being like, oh my gosh, that's really cool, or like, oh wow, or just a response, you know, not just like a oh, or like a nod, or like a.
Huh. That's actually pretty true. I feel like, but I think it also like as the relationship grows, sometimes you don't have the energy to respond to every single thing they say.
But then when you don't respond to the thing they say, they just feel like you don't care, and like.
But sometimes people do care, and sometimes they're dealing with their own like so much happening in their life, they can't give you an accurate response.
Right, but I think it's saying like not everything needs a response.
But you're saying 80% is the threshold.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be like a huge response. It can just be like a wow, or even just coming back and being like.
What if like if you text your partner something on text and they just like it? Do you think that's a good response? They acknowledge what you said.
Like what if I just texted, oh, a bird just flew by, and they liked it? Yeah, that would be cool.
What would be a good response in that
Wow.
situation? Oh wow, send me a picture, and then the bird flew by, and then you don't have a picture. Now you're both regretting what you just said.
No, now a like line of communication has been opened, and like something inside you feels validated, and you're good.
But do you think it's also like, okay, now I have like, I think it makes it seems like you're then probably anxious attachment where you need this constant validation from your partner. Or
I
is
don't
it-
think so. I think anxious attachment is kind of that. I think every relationship has bids. Like you need some sort of validation from your partner, right? You can't
Definitely.
just not have any like.
But do you think you need validation? I feel like you're like one of those pure avoidant people.
This is a podcast about your life.
Yeah, but like I feel like the listeners do want to listen about it. That's the constant comment I hear. When is Hailey going to talk about her life? But I feel like you are like one of those very small set of people that are truly avoidant. But essentially, all right. So validation is important in a relationship.
Yes.
I feel like everybody
Yes.
needs it, even though Hailey, as avoidant a person as Hailey needs it. I think maybe your current relationship has changed you. I think I've never seen you giddy in life until I saw you in this relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, like your mood could change on how like what's happening. I honestly I've
I
seen
think
it.
everyone's can.
I think mine obviously changes a lot. Like if I have a fight or have an argument with someone,
Yeah.
my like entire day would be bad. I would be like so sad.
Yeah, I think that's normal.
Yeah, and I read like presidential biographies for fun, right? So
Yeah.
for my nerd thing, I've been recently. I've been reading about Lincoln, and like the author who like did his biography talked about like his. There's a portion of it where he talks about his relationship and marriages, and he said that there was
Wait, Lincoln was married more than once?
no, he was engaged
Oh.
more than once.
Oh.
And back then there wouldn't be like a relationship. People would be say, "Hey, we're engaged."
Okay.
Engagement, and he would talk about how some of them actually impacted how his mood was.
Wow. And
But-
they say women are too emotional to be in power.
But I feel like men are way more emotional
Yeah, I agree.
because we can't.
I agree.
Yeah, because we can't. We've been taught not to process our emotions.
Yeah. No, I am 100% with you.
Okay. Well,
I've always been the less emotional one in every relationship I've ever been
yeah,
in.
but like you're different though.
Okay, anyways.
You talked about like how you would go like days without texting your significant other.
Okay, anyways.
Anyways, on that beautiful note, we have Hailey back. We'll be back with our regular programming and wishing you a happy new year. Until next time, take care. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.